Hello and welcome back to the Grow Like a Mother podcast. I am your host, Jill Wright, time management strategist, and today I'm bringing on a guest who is so aligned with the work that I do. Sarah Perez is a strength, energy, and self-care coach for moms. Sarah's on a mission to help busy moms reclaim their strength, boost their energy, and prioritize self-care without spending hours at the gym or giving up on the foods they love. Amen. Yes, I was so excited to get to connect with Sarah. She's got over 20 years of experience as an ACE certified personal trainer, a yoga instructor, and a perinatal wellness coach. And what she does is she provides realistic movement, meal, and mindset strategies that fit seamlessly into even the most hectic schedules. We are talking today about her 2% method, where she empowers moms to break free from the patterns that keep them stuck so that they can feel stronger and more energized and fully in control of their well being. Whether you're struggling to carve time out for yourself or battling exhaustion or looking for sustainable ways to feel your best, Sarah's expertise will help you take action without the overwhelm. So get ready for an inspiring conversation that's going to shift your perspective on wellness and show you just how doable it is to put yourself back on your own priority list. And if this is a topic that really lights you up, make sure you check out the Exhausted Mom's Energy Fix. This is an episode I did last summer on season 3 of the Grow Like a Mother podcast. I got to interview Nikki Cheek, who is a health and wellness coach for busy moms and the founder of Intentional Wellness Coaching. Nikki knows all about being a busy mom and how exhausting it can be. And, her mission is really dedicated to helping moms see that exhaustion doesn't have to be the norm as a mom. So she developed the Exhausted Moms Energy Fix program designed to help busy moms like you and me reclaim our energy and embrace each day with enthusiasm. So if that floats your boat, I'll link Nikki's episode here in the show notes, and let's get into it with Sarah Parise. All right, Sarah, welcome to the Grow Like a Mother podcast. It's so exciting to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Can't wait to
Yeah.
chat.
I'm jazzed too. I think it's going to be a really good conversation because it's going to be a topic that most people listening who are moms are interested about because we're talking about prioritizing our own wellness as a busy mom and why it might not be as hard as we make it out to be sometimes. Can we go back a few steps though? And can you give us a sense, like we've heard your bio, we know what it is you do, but like who are you as Sarah? Tell us a little bit about you and yourself as a mom and sort of why you do this work.
As Sarah, I'm a messy bun, don't drink coffee, fuel myself through mini movements throughout the day type of girl. So I've like battled my own stuff becoming a mom 8 years ago now. I have an 8 and a 6-year-old, which is very important for this stage of motherhood. I'm no longer dealing with toddlers. I'm not up all night with the infants and everything. So we're moving into what my friends warned me would be a real sweet spot, and they were not lying. 6 and 8 is awesome. We get to go on adventures and they're independent enough, and I get to do all the things that I kind of envisioned doing as a mom that I got to think about before I became a mom, and now I get to live it. So I'm through all the stuff that I didn't look forward to in motherhood, the sleepless nights, the breastfeeding, the just them falling all over the place and being clumsy humans. They're still clumsy humans, but now I feel like I really get to truly be who I envisioned myself as a mom. And that's a really exciting stage.
That is really exciting. My kids are turning 6 and 8 in June. So I'm
You're about to
right.
enter it. Be ready.
I'm right in that phase. I'm like, I feel the magic coming. It is a really fun age, and you're right. And I think that something we don't think about all the time is as we're going through the thick of it in the muck of those early years is like, well, what will it look like at the next milestone stage? Because we get used to, or at least I got used to, really quick transitions. Like, okay, I've got the diaper thing figured out. Crap, now we're potty training. Great, got that figured out. Crap, now they're at school. Okay, then now, right? And it went really quick. And things are starting to slow down a little bit in this phase of life, in this sort of like school aged, elementary aged category, which gives us some time to really stop and think about ourselves as moms.
Absolutely. And most of the moms I work with, like when I developed my business plan, it was like moms 6 or 8 weeks postpartum, like getting back into feeling like yourself, taking back time for yourself. Clearly, I was thinking this before I was a mom, clearly. And now most of the people I work with have late toddlers or early elementary school kids. So it really is a different phase of life where you really think when you're in the muck that you're never going to come out of it. And it doesn't mean you can't take little steps to get towards back to feeling like yourself, but once they're in school and your schedule is more, their sleep schedule is more consistent and your sleep schedule becomes more consistent, you kind of start to feel human again. And
Yeah.
that is refreshing and really a happy place to be.
It really is. And there are things that we can do to sort of enhance this experience for ourselves and really take advantage of this space without spending hours at the gym or giving up foods we love or having to do too much work in any one area. And I'm so excited to have you on today to share some of these like tools and tips and strategies that you help through like your 2% method. Like I want to hear all the things. So I'm going to kind of hand the floor over to you, whatever feels most important and top of mind to talk about that we can share with the moms today to help give them some real resources.
Absolutely. The 2% I think is huge because I say you only have to take 2% of the day and give it back to you so you can give 100% to everyone else you know and love. And 2% is very doable because it's roughly 28 minutes. It doesn't need to be all at once. So like a lot of moms I work with are like, I'm going to do 5 minutes in the morning, I'm going to do 10 minutes at lunchtime, and then whatever's left over of that 2% is done after bedtime. And it's not done doing the dishes or cleaning up after the kids. It's doing something for yourself. And not just the physical. I'm a certified personal trainer. So the physical part came first for me, but then I became a mom and realized how much that physical fueled my mental and emotional. So it just kind of like, to me, it's like if you're going to start with anything, start with walking, start with the physical because it boosts everything up. Meditation is great. I love it. Journaling's amazing. Sitting down with a book and a hot cup of tea or coffee is so soothing, but it doesn't hit all three of those pillars, the physical, mental, and emotional. So I really think it's something powerful about moving your body. And we all have this, like, I know I did when before became a mom. I'm like, I'm going to get back to the gym. I'm going to continue to do yoga. I'm going to do all these things. And then I did nothing because I didn't have that hour dedicated to like go to that spin class anymore. Not to mention the time to get there, do the spin class, chit chat a little after, take a shower, and then come home or grab coffee or lunch with a friend that was at the spin class. And so I was like, well, I can't do that anymore. So, like with a lot of moms, I did nothing for a very long time because I couldn't do my normal or what we're kind of trained to do of like go to that hour class, go to that 50-minute boot camp. And when you can't do it, a lot of us take that all or nothing mentality and we choose not to do anything where it really doesn't have to be that big. A 5-minute walk can be just as beneficial as a new mom mentally as going to that class. Because that class might be real stressful. You've left little one, you've carved out all this time, maybe you've had to pay a babysitter. There's a lot of other things that go into it. So, not making it complicated is my big thing, and my big thing message that I share with the moms that I work with of like we just have to simplify things. And it might not seem like it's enough at first, but every little small bit of change snowballs into these huge results in the end.
Yeah, I love that because it's meeting us where we're at in this busy stage
Mhm.
of life and acknowledging that it's got to look different than it used to. It might not look exactly the way we want it to look, but going for a 5-minute walk is 10,000 times better than not walking at all.
Absolutely.
And I love how you identify that you can take that 2% of your day, those 28 minutes,
Mhm.
and break it up throughout the day. That's one of the other pieces, right? Like I like to talk about time confetti and finding these 5 or 10 minute pieces in our day where we would normally pick up our phone and scroll because we've got a bit of a lull, but not enough time to do anything. And these pockets of time confetti are the perfect place to be able to focus on, okay, how am I going to show up for me? What are these things that I'm going to be doing to fill these pockets of time so that I can fill my cup consistently up
Absolutely.
throughout the day?
And it comes down to we like hate to schedule one more thing. But when I'm working with people and it's hard for them to like step away from the computer, I work with a ton of entrepreneurs. So it's like you go in to own your own business and you're like, because I don't want to work 9 to 5. And then you just work 24/7 instead. These are the people that I work with. And we schedule in the time to take the breaks. We schedule in a mid morning, even 15 minutes. Go down, walk downstairs, walk around a little bit. You can't get outside, that's okay. But take that little break and schedule it. Set it in your phone like you would any other appointment or any other Zoom call that you jump on. And you carve out that time and you keep that sacred space for you. And I know for moms that are like, especially stay at home moms run into this, they're like, I'm never alone. And I always want to tell people that self care doesn't mean you're by yourself.
Mm,
And it doesn't need to be alone in a spa when we think self-care. So it doesn't need to be by yourself. It can be like your little one goes down for your nap, and instead of racing around and taking advantage of that maybe 15, maybe an hour and 15-minute time block that you have, is just sit for 5 minutes. Put your feet up and just be. Do some deep breaths, listen to a meditation, do something that you love to do. Even if you read a couple pages of a book, it can make a big difference before you try to do all of the other things. Just taking that little time for yourself can really fuel you in a different way.
yes, absolutely. I'm just thinking back for my own self, what I like to do now. I recently went on a retreat to Baja, and one of the um, ladies that I met there took like a fancy recording device, I don't know. And she captured the sounds of the waves and us walking on the pebbles, right? And when we did group yoga, like the or the breath at the end. And she
Mm-hmm.
created this like 4.5 minute audio and shared it with us. And I use that in 4.5 minutes. My whole day transforms. And it
What
can
a
be something
gift.
as easy as that.
That's amazing. What a great idea.
Yeah, I know. I know. Okay, so this idea of taking 2% of our day back for us so we can show up as 100% for our loved ones. I love this. I'm curious to know selfishly about how you help your clients with meals, because we talk about movement, we talk about mindset, we talk about meals.
Mhm.
Take me through the meals thing, please. This is where I struggle the most.
So people are really terrified with the phrase meal prep, especially as a mom. I've done workshops. I do corporate wellness events also. Every time I mention the word meal prep, people have a very visceral, like, I can see the reaction to, like, oh, this is going to get intense quick. And I honestly thought the same way. I had a good friend many years ago who was trying to get me into meal prepping when my daughter was born. And I went to her house and she opened her refrigerator, and it still is like, to me, a horror movie. It's like she opened the refrigerator and there was like hundreds of containers. Everyone had a color. She had 3 kids at the time, so she was well ahead of me in the parenting stage. Everyone had a color, everyone had a section. She knew what she was going to eat. Like, this was on a Sunday afternoon after she had prepped. She knew what she was going to have for snack on Friday, on Sunday afternoon. And that sentence alone stressed me out. Because to me, I'm like, what if I'm not in the mood for that snack on Friday afternoon? What if I don't want salmon on Monday? I had all these questions. So I left there. 3 years went by. I, of course, did nothing, because if you're not going to do this, well, then I might as well do nothing. And it wasn't until I had my second daughter when my little one, my older one, could help me in the kitchen by prepping. And we got like those Amazon knives, like the little knives that kids can cut with. And she wanted to be involved, but I didn't know what that looked like. So, like any other normal person, went on Pinterest and was like, what do kids look like in the kitchen? And I got her a cute little apron and got her a cutting board and got her these knives, and she started cutting up her cucumbers for the week. So it was just like that. It was her favorite. That was, she was in the cucumber phase. So it was the only vegetable she ate during that phase. So she cut them up for the week. So she would cut up the cucumbers. I'd cut up the rest of the vegetables that I wanted for the rest of us for the week. And she would put it in her little container. And then every day at lunch, she'd go in and she'd get her cucumbers out and she'd put some on her plate and put it in. And this alone transformed my idea of meal prepping, like what it was supposed to look like. So we started super small. So we started with just now my kids are 6 and 8, so they can cut peppers now. They cut large carrots. They can use a peeler. It's a lot different. But when they're little, get them involved. One, it makes you do it because they want to do it. So it'll hold you accountable to just start doing the vegetables. And then our second step we did breakfast, because it was always such a rush to get out the door. It's like, get the kids to daycare, get the kids to school, get my husband out the door, get myself somewhat put together for the day. And I was finding myself, I was just grabbing like really crappy protein bars of just like, it's something, it's better than nothing kind of thing. But now I kind of pick a breakfast for the week, and this is just for me. I mean, sometimes my husband partakes, but most of the time it's just me eating it. So this week, like, I made a frittata. So I took all those vegetables that we cut up and I sauteed a bunch of them. I threw in some chicken sausage this week because I wanted a little extra protein. And then this morning, I'm trying to get the kids out. Mondays are always a challenge. When I try to get the kids out the door to the bus, 30 seconds in the microwave, and I have a dish with me to go, and I can have a healthy breakfast. So it's no longer grabbing something that's full of empty calories and sugar. It's something healthy. It fuels me. Like, didn't even eat my snack today because I'm still full. And it's just like one extra piece of prep that is well worth the 25 minutes it took me to do it on a Sunday. So I'm not a fan of prepping all day. Some people are. Some people are like, this is a gift to my future self. In my programs, it's like, here's what you're going to prep for the next 2 days. So you have like one day you're cooking, and then the next day you're either like repurposing. I'm not a big leftover person, so I like to repurpose, changing the way it looks on the plate and looks as far as the meal. When we change up the vegetable or change up the protein, it just looks a little bit different, but it's really doable. And I think the part that moms like the most is I give them a grocery list for the week. So if they follow the meal plan, it's like, here's your grocery list. And a lot of my clients use Instagram or Instacart to do their grocery shopping. So they're just like, cut, paste, here it is. Groceries show up. There's no like impulse buys. There's
Yeah.
no like walking down the aisle and it's like, I really want those Pringles this week. So you're keeping the stuff out of the house, and the grocery list keeps you on budget. So it actually ends up saving you money also. And all the stuff that you're going to buy is all the stuff that you're going to use. So you're not going to get to the end of the week and be like, what am I going to do with these extra green beans that I bought that I never used? Kind of thing. So just making it, removing the mental load, I think is the biggest part of like having something to follow. Yeah, of course you can Google recipes and be like, okay, what's for dinner tonight? But having something succinct, something easy, family friendly, not to say your kids are going to eat everything, because I know I have very picky eaters, but hey, at least try this stuff. It's not something like so advanced in the flavor palette that the kids are not going to at least try it.
I love that you offer that. That sounds like a complete godsend because you're right. It's the stress of trying to figure out day by day. Like if you're not prepping, what's for
Mm-hmm.
dinner tonight? It's that dreaded text around like three
Right.
o'clock, right? Like, oh God,
Yep.
what's for dinner? What are we gonna have? Who's going to the store?
Mm-hmm.
Because we haven't planned. It's there. And then
Mm-hmm.
you're right, the extra time, the extra costs, the mental load of trying to figure it out every day. Imagine, listeners, like just imagine using Sarah's grocery list and
Mm-hmm.
recipes and saying, well, here it is. And even if that feels like a step too far for you, start on your own and do the one prep, like the
One prep.
frittata. You do it once.
Mm-hmm.
I did that this week with soup. I made
Yeah.
one pot of soup because we
Yep.
all had gastro and we felt really awful. And now we're back.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I can make one pot of soup that takes me an hour. And it's just because I'm kind of babysitting it, right? Like it's not an
Mm-hmm.
intense meal prep. And that's going to be my lunch. And
Mm-hmm.
if I get sick of soup, then I can put the soup in the freezer and it'll still be ready for the next time.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel overwhelming to me, but the time I spent doing it far, far, far outweighed the like just the heaviness of trying to figure out lunch every single day.
And then just reaching for it, because we're all in a rush, just reaching for whatever's there. So it's like
Yeah.
that's the other trick, is like only having stuff in the house where you feel good before and after reaching for it. So
Hmm.
one part of one of my programs is like a complete like pantry, fridge, and freezer clean out of like, if you don't have cookies in the house at 8:30 after the kids go to bed, you're probably not going to go to the store and get cookies. Okay, once in a while you will go to the store and get cookies, or you will go pick up that quart of ice cream. Like that, we're human. This is what's going to happen. Those cravings sometimes hit real hard and you will do it, but chances are you're not going to go outside, especially in the bitter cold in the winter, and go get those cookies. So if it's not in the house, you're going to have to find a different alternative. So it's
Yeah.
just like setting yourself up, tricking your future self for some success.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And along that line, it's like developing a mindset of like, what is important to us? Where do we want to spend this energy? And like,
Mhm.
what's worth it and what's not? Can you talk to us a little bit about how you coach your clients through this mindset piece?
Absolutely. It's honestly it's the most challenging part, hands down, for everyone, because we get into this kind of survival of motherhood. I think we all, if you don't go through that period of time, I want to meet you. Like, please reach out. I want to see, like, if you've never been like, I'm just surviving the day, and you're just kind of jumping through all the things you have to jump through, and then you get to the end of the day and you just sit down and you're just like, Netflix is all you can handle at that point. Like, we've all been there. So my challenge that I work with the moms is to, before the day starts or as the day starts, in like our morning ritual, of like having an idea in your head of what you are going to do for yourself today. And maybe it is that healthy breakfast. Get it done early in the day. It's even better, because the longer the day goes on, the less likely you're going to find time for yourself. And a lot of moms are like, I feel guilty. I feel like I should be spending time with my kids instead of getting up early and working out, or working out when they come home from school, moving your body or something. And I say, like, if you don't do it for you, do it for them. Because I know me and a lot of the women I work with are way better humans when we do something for ourselves. Even if it's small, even if you get up in the morning and you just start the day for you. One of my first programs was called Mornings for Mom. And
Mm.
it was like, I said 5 to 15 minutes you carve out before your world's awake and do something for yourself can make all the difference. I do the challenge annually in my Facebook group, Time Out for Moms, Wellness, Accountability, and Support. We do 3 days. 3 days in a row, you get up earlier, you fight that alarm if you're not a morning person, and 3 days in a row, you do it. And it's amazing every single year. Everyone's like, why am I not doing this? I had such a better day. I had such a clearer mind. I wasn't as overwhelmed. I wasn't thinking like, oh, I got to do that walk after work tonight, or oh, I had got to go to the gym afterwards. When it's done first thing, then everything else can get in the way. And you're almost okay with it. You're like, when things go sideways, you're like, all right, you can handle it. You can roll with it a lot better once you have that strong mindset going into the day.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This reminds me of something that I teach called Eat Your Frog, which is like do the most
Yes.
important thing first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the frog in this situation is like getting your mindset, working on that and setting yourself up for good momentum and good trajectory for the rest of the day because you've nourished yourself in that way right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I want to make sure that people really heard was that you do this challenge in 3 days. It is
Right.
not like you're asking for a month and then people fall off the wagon and it feels intimidating. 3 days is doable. Just like 7 days is doable. And I want you to talk to us a little bit about the 7 day energy boost program that you've got going on. Can you share about that?
Absolutely. Yes. This came about by actually one of my former clients. She went through my 90-day program, which is it's the physical, it's all the workouts, it's the yoga, it's the movement, it's keeping track of our steps. Then it's the menu, like I was talking about with the grocery list, and of course the mindset, like those weekly lessons of just reminding ourselves, like we are worth it and our families are worth it to get the best version of ourselves. So then like a year and a half went by and she reached out and she's like, okay, I'm doing well, but I went on vacation, then the holidays hit, and I like can't get back into it. She's like, "Do you have anything to just kind of like reset the system? Like I know what I need to do, but I just need like a little kick in the butt to like just get back on track." And I was like, "I don't, but I love this." So her and I worked together. I was like, "What exactly do you want?" And she's like, "I kind of want like a little bit each day. Like I want a workout or some sort of movement to do. I want you to tell me what to eat again, and I want just some kind of like positive affirmation of like that I am once again am worth it." So the 7 day energy boost came to be because of Caitlin and her need to just that little jump start of it. And that's what I do with most moms that are not wanting to give up 90 days and kind of really solidify those habits. This is for moms that like they know what they're supposed to do. They've been there before. They've had that success, but they just need a little bit of a reset. The 7 day energy boost is perfect.
I feel so supportive because you're right. A lot of us, we quote, we know what we should be doing.
Mhm.
We've done the research, we've paid for the programs, we've started it, we've had some success,
Mhm.
and life gets in the way, whether it be an illness that takes out the whole family, like we just had
Yes.
last week, or like big snowstorms that come through and prevent you from going out physically to do the things that you wanted to do, and it breaks the rhythm, or your kids go through some sort of transition or challenging time. Like,
Mhm.
who knows? Life is constantly changing and constantly giving us these curveballs,
Mhm.
which can throw us off track. And first off, like, no shame if you get thrown off track. That is literally part of it, and it happens to
It's
everybody.
all part of everything.
But what a cool idea to have this tool and just be able to say, okay, this is my reset button, and someone's going to walk me through it and hold my hand and guide me so I don't have to think about it too much.
Absolutely.
And then I can get my feet back under me.
Mhm.
Mm.
And it's been great. I love the feedback that those 7 days have given because you're kind of like, what's 7 days? I'm not gonna like build new habits in 7 days. But sometimes you don't need to. It's just to refresh your body, your brain, and just your whole soul that you can do this. This is okay. We're getting back on track. And those examples you gave are so powerful because it is. It's like when I work with women for 90 days, it's 12 weeks. Those 12 weeks usually last about 15 weeks because someone gets sick. There's just life. It's like mom life. It's not just us to sidetrack us. It's not like, oh, I just had an off week. Okay. That rarely happens. It's usually because of another human.
Yeah. And there are so many things externally that we can't control that we need
Mhm.
to figure out the pieces that we can control within our, within our realm of control. How do we make it easy for us to sort of bounce back when these external things come without the
Mhm.
stress of like worrying that they're happening because they're gonna happen. That's just life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's a big mindset one that we deal with also is this allowing yourself grace when those things do go off track. Like we had a big snowstorm 2 weeks ago in Raleigh, North Carolina. We got 2 inches of snow. So naturally there were 3 snow days. So children were home. Work schedules were changed. Obviously your self-care and taking those workouts and all of those things had to shift. And I worked with a lot of moms through that hard time to be like, this is okay. You're not hitting your step goal today. It is icy and miserable outside. That's okay. A big thing about like a step goal, I get this question all the time, and people are like, well, what if I can't get 10,000 steps? I'm like, well, once again, it's that all or nothing. I usually start people with like, where are you? Let's try to add on 1,000 a day. But instead of having that daily goal, have a weekly goal. So like when that snowstorm hits in those 3 days, you have the other four to make up for it, kind of thing. So our storm hit on Wednesday afternoon. So a lot of my one-on-one calls, either Sunday night or Monday morning, were okay, let's see how many steps we can get in before the snow starts to fall. And you're stuck inside. So it is a weekly goal, not so much a daily goal.
I think that's so important. And I think we lose our ability to be flexible if we are only
Mhm.
focused on the day in front of us, and it can really mess us up. I talk about this a lot too when I'm guiding people towards time management and planning for a week versus a daily to-do list. It's a
Mhm.
completely, it gives you so much space. And you
Yes.
realize like not every day looks the same, so you can't plan for every day to look the same. It's just not realistic. So I love that you brought that piece in too. Thank you.
And I love that just the weekly, not even just about the steps and the workouts, but just in general of what you want to accomplish in the
Yeah,
week. That I love
totally.
that it gives you more space. That's a
Yeah.
wonderful clue.
That's what we're all looking for, I think, is a little bit more flow, a little bit more space, a little bit more ease.
Mhm.
And you are doing amazing work offering that, offering
Thank you.
solutions to women, to moms. Um, if people are curious on how they can continue this conversation and work with you and learn from you, where do we send them? Where do they go?
Instagram is probably the most common. My Instagram handle is Great Days by Sarah because I think all moms deserve to have more great days. And then my Facebook group, Time Out for Moms, Wellness, Accountability, and Support, totally free group. I do live weekly workouts and meditations. We do recipe exchanges. Face Mask Monday has been one of my favorites. Post your terrifying selfie of you doing a face mask and taking 10 minutes for yourself on a Monday. And I would love to connect.
I think the best part about podcasting for me is when the listeners extend like their hand back because we're in their ear, right? They can
Yes.
hear us. We are giving this conversation, this wisdom, this value to them. But when they reach back to one of us on
Mhm.
Instagram or send us a note and just say, like, hey, I heard about you on the Grow Like a Mother podcast and this piece really landed, that
Mhm.
is everything. So definitely, please do that. Please go join Sarah's Facebook group and get in her world because your life will be better for it. Your days will be great. And yeah, is there anything you want to leave the audience with today, Sarah, before we sign off?
Two things. One, I'd love to offer a little freebie. I have a little quick bingo board. It's how busy moms prioritize their own wellness, and it's just something you can print off and put on the fridge. And these little pockets of the day where we spend a lot of the day in the kitchen, there's these little things that you can do, even with your little ones, even with your kids. So it's how busy moms prioritize their own wellness, and it's just a fun game board. And I'll send you the link so we can link it in the show notes also for that. And really, the challenge is do something for yourself today. And it doesn't matter how big or how small it is, and celebrate it. Really
Mm.
thank yourself for showing up for yourself because you deserve it.
Yes, yes, you do. Absolutely. Thank you for that. That's amazing. I will make sure everything is linked in the show notes so it's easy for listeners to just click and connect. And thank you once again for being here. It's been such a great conversation.
Thank you so much, Jill. This was awesome.